Our little Salem travel trailer. This is the way they want you to put the caulking on. Just slobber it on there. You see you got a leak right there. I want you to put more on. See there's some right there too? You'd have to put more on, more on. The only one's putting more on is a moron. There's something wrong with that system. Right there, same thing. If you think about it, you have to keep slathering that every few months. There's something wrong with it. Kind of like buying tires, you have to put air in it every few months. Here's another issue right here. Same thing. This caulking isn't, that's not the way you do a roof. So, then on the side you can see there's nothing here protecting the roof from this joint. You can see how rusty those nails are in there, those little pin nails they used. Then up underneath here, let's see what we got up underneath here. So this is a vulnerable area because here's the decking. You can actually see the transition right there. You can see the decking. See how sharp that is? And a lot of times that will fail and you'll get leaks. There's nothing under there protecting it. So as this coach is going back and forth, you can actually aggravate that and chafe it off. And then you got little slits in there, and then it'll run down into the wall on here and start rotting the wall out. So I think this one got caught on a branch or something. That's what it looks like right here. That's the best thing that could have happened to this. Now we put a decent roof on here. But see the sharp metal? That needs all to be protected. That needs to be protected. So down here, I think they got an issue down here. There's some rot right here. You see that? So we'll take that piece out, at least this section, and we'll put a new piece in there for them. We'll see what else is wrong under there. I don't know all what is. Obviously, if it's got wet insulation, we'll have to deal with that. You know, it feels pretty dry. I want to make sure the framing is that's pretty dry right there. So I want to make sure the framing's okay. It may just be the sheet, might have just caught it in time. Sounds solid. I'm gonna check maybe. Sometimes along here there's a band right there. It's a board that runs all the way down, and that's what cinches in these trusses. The trusses right here. Here's a truss right here, and that band goes all the way down and kind of connects them like a band joist on a deck or something. Actually, some people call them ribbons, but that's what it is. It's the same idea. Then also the purpose of that band is to screw, this is the turn bar right here. Roofing comes down, as you can see, it goes under there, and then there's just screws right behind here, this piece. See all the screws in there? So that screws it on, and then this is just a vinyl trim cap. That's all that is. So all the screws are there, and that's how you put the roof back. Or when you bring it down, then you cinch it right here. Then you just conceal the screws with this plastic piece right here, the vinyl. So, but everything looks pretty good so far. Even that seems somewhat solid, but when we take all this off, I'll see what's going on up inside here, and we'll, if we got to make adjustments on it, we will, and we'll fix it. But as I said, none of these are, we're going to put strips on here. We'll have strips going down, protective strips going all the way down the roof, right on the edges. To protect that, we'll have them on here, these protective strips for these. That's the way we do them. Then, because you can see the inconsistency right here, and I just don't want that to affect the main roof. The stuff we use is all commercial, so and it's going to be hard as heck to even aggravate it or really tear it. But it's just a smart, prudent thing to do. You know, you always want to try to do the best you can to protect the main roofing. And that's one way to do it. Like you said, all these here. And you can see some moisture been getting in there. We got those rusty staples on this side. And I definitely want to get something in there to protect that sharp edge right there. That is pretty sharp. I'm surprised that didn't cut the roof. That is pretty dang sharp right there. Pretty dang sharp. So, this is our little Salem right here. Like I said, it's just a little travel trailer. Got a radio. We'll be putting that up in a boot. Same thing on this side. Okay, nothing protecting this one. So we'll end up taking this awning off because we have to get this rail right here anyways. We'll take the awning off. Then we'll see what's going on here. That seems a lot more solid than that side, but you never know until you get it on. But look at all this caulking all slobbered on there. That's just terrible. I mean, if you're going to put that much caulking on there, caulking is not meant to be like that. It's not meant to just be slobbered on like that. If you're going to do any you have to really seal something. This underneath should have been sealed. They usually put a butyl under there. Not a fan of the butyl either. The butyl will ooze out and push the caulking away, and I don't like that. So we don't use butyl here. We use a structural adhesive is what we use, and that'll give it holding power, and it'll also be watertight at the same time. So one more to come in our little Salem. We'll be back with more live from the RV Roof Install Repair Studios in Fort Overthorpe, Georgia. Rated R. Unassuming, with no parent legal guardian. Back in our little Salem. So this whole piece here was rotted, and then so is the decking. So what we did was, obviously we replaced with a fresh piece, and then screwed down a new piece of decking on there. So we're about ready to get some roofing on it. About ready to go as soon as we get this last piece of roofing material off, clean the deck and everything. We're gonna go. Our Salem, so we got one side already glued. We'll just roll it over. Then what we're gonna do is get there's a radio antenna right here that we're gonna mark. Then after that, we roll this other side back, we glue it. We do the same thing, and then we have a roller that we're going to press it down with, but you can see we've got all our protective strips over everything. And we also replace that front piece up there. I think we already showed you that. And there's the big roller. That one's our balance roller. We have two rollers that we use. So now we got that hole right there for the radio antenna. We'll make a boot for that. And once we get a boot for that, everything gets welded in. This is our balance roller right now. All that does is kind of pre-tack it. Now we take the big roller and we mash her down. This pushes the membrane down. So you don't do this at the RV center. They can't do it with rubber, because when you try to go over it with rubber, it'd be like, the best way I could think of an analogy would be like rolling something across carpet, how it wads up in front of the wheels. That's what happens with rubber. This isn't the same product. This is a thermoplastic. It's a commercial grade, 60 mil. That's how thick it is. It's a much thicker product than you're going to get with rubber. And everything heat welds together. It's a commercial grade, same product you're going to find on a hotel, an office building, a library. Alright, this is our Salem. We're done. Got that A right there that we put. That was for the antenna. They're not going to replace it, but the last time we showed you, we were gluing it down. And this roof was pretty small. Didn't have very many curbs. We do have our curbs on here. This is our little Salem bumper pole. So the owner wanted to omit the antenna altogether, so what we did is just heat welded an A on there. Down the road, if someone ever wanted to put another antenna on there, they know where it goes. We've got our flashing detail on the front of our air conditioner, and then we've got all of our curbs welded in. We've got the boots here for the radio antenna, and the curbs over there. Got a couple more boots for the plumbing. We've got a refrigerator. So the whole point of the front piece flashing, what that does is if you get any rain that's just barreling across here on a heavy storm, when the water is coming down, it'll go down to the pot on this flashing detail, and then it'll roll out from underneath. So what's up underneath there is the same as this one over here. So this is the same style, and what we've done is we've put these flanges on here. This is your counter flashing. So when the water comes up, it'll hit this, and then it'll roll out. So it's not going to get up on top there at all. So the purpose of that flashing up there is when it brings it down, it'll bring it down past this and it'll roll out. So we've got a couple stands on the back, and then again, this is our plumbing, and we fill that up with what's called a portable sealer, and it always stays flexible, so it's a solid seal. This is all commercial application. This is a 60 mil GAF TPO. It's a thermoplastic. Everything heat welds together. So all the curves, the one up there in the AC and this one here, that's a 3-inch flange. We heat weld all of that. We just don't do this edge. We do the whole thing. So that's a heck of a water drop if it thinks it's going to get its way all the way through there. Heat welding, just like welding 2 pieces of metal together. Same thing here. We've got all that heat welded. And then we put our brand on here so people know who this installed the roof. There's the month. There's the year that we put it down, so we can monitor the roof, make sure it's performing and doing exactly what it's supposed to do for what we got paid to do. So, and again, we get the refrigerators the same way. It's got the same flashing detail on there. And we put 2 strikes of caulking down on here. We do 2 strikes. If you ever operated a caulking gun, when you start squeezing the tube, as you start going, you'll hear it crackle and pop a little bit. And what happens is you're burying an air pocket up underneath there. So as the coach is going down, racking and twisting and flexing, that little air bubble could pop. And if it does, you got a potential leak. So the best way to eliminate that is to put 2 layers on there. And that's what we do. We wait for the first one to cure out, and then we go over it with a second layer. So you see how nice and clean that is as well. That looks really good, even along here. Whole thing. Then we put in some new spline, screw cap cover. So this roof looks really nice and clean. So, but that's our little Salem right there. So you can watch more videos on our YouTube. It's just youtube.com/RV roof install. And you can go to our Facebook page, same thing, facebook.com/RV roof install. And our website, rvroofinstall.com, which you can access all of that through our website, all those the YouTube and the Facebook, that is. You can read a lot of reviews on the Facebook, and you can see a lot more videos that we may not have all up on our Facebook or our website as well. So, but thanks for watching. If you got any questions, give us a call back here, and our number is 423-475-7663, 423-475-ROOF. Thanks again.